Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. You are listening to a podcast by Pastor Eric Deepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. If you enjoy Faith Over Breakfast, we encourage you to rate it on the Apple Podcast app, on Spotify, or Google Play. Thank you and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. My name is Andy Littleton from Mission Church.
Not
I'm here
the mission, as you told us last week.
Mission Church. And
Mission
I'm here
Church.
with Eric from Village.
No,
The Village. Oh, this is so complicated.
Yeah, the Village Church, Tucson, Arizona.
And we are talking about AI Bible stories and scenes.
And that's what got us talking.
And it got us talking, and then as is the case, as is the concept of this podcast, we talk about whatever we think that comes out of that. That's what we do.
Right, because we talk, and then I feel like sometimes the Holy Spirit pricks something else in one of our brains, and off we go running down a different path.
Absolutely.
And it's fun.
Because this is Faith Over Breakfast.
That's
You're
right.
sitting at a breakfast
And
table conversation with us.
For breakfast.
We have coffee.
Yeah,
and
it's 5 for coffee. And
5
5
Keurig.
Yeah, Keurig.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's better than no beverage.
Yeah.
If you'd like a Keurig coffee, you could sit down and listen to this with us. In fact, if you drank some coffee, I think you'd get the full experience.
That's true.
So go brew something up and then join us.
Enjoy. All right, man. Hey, look, it's good to see you.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't cut that.
I won't cut that part.
Doing.
I will cut our little pre-conversation.
Oh, you told him about it now.
Yeah, we had a really cool pre-conversation about classes, which you don't know anything about.
Yeah. You think it's a class, and it's like a class.
Hey, you want just to start us off?
Yeah.
Because I think we have some interesting things to talk about, but our church is thinking about, and this, like, I'm here at church. Let me tell you what we've been thinking about.
Please.
So we have for a long time been like organizationally and just high volume media, the way our church works, and high volume engagement. And then we've got like 16 different things that are trying to merge into one. Mm-hmm. Couldn't we just have our own app that handled everything?
Oh.
And we've never been able to find one that actually works. And so then, Subsplash reached out to us, which is a pretty big one that tons of people have. I started talking. So I talked to their salesperson on a Zoom call. He and I started talking, and I learned that, the guys at Mars Hill are the ones who developed Subsplash.
Okay.
And the guy I was talking to is the salesperson is I think the pianist or one of the guitarists on Ghost Ship. So we knew all the same people. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he was, the whole conversation
circle.
was only about Mars Hill. It was pretty funny. But Subsplash, man, I actually like it. It's a lot of work, though, to move an institution over to something like that.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend if you plant a church that you start with Subsplash.
Oh, wow. Here's a free ad.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Because they will do it for almost next to nothing for you.
Wow.
And help and build with you. And it really does make it, like, a lot of things much easier to deal with organizationally.
Wow.
And their centralization. So anyway, but it was fun to meet somebody from Ghost Ship and chat about music and stuff. So
sweet. Okay.
Yeah. So that's just a side note.
Side note. Thanks
this
for that. Thanks
podcast has been brought to you by an unpaid ad of Subsplash.
An unpaid ad. Man, those are the best.
Yeah.
It feels good to give credit to someone
Yeah.
without getting any money.
That is really good
These days.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a perfect lead in
That's perfectly
to the AI Bible and AI Bible stories and AI imaginations of what God is doing.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is season 6.
Season 6.
Seasons.
Gross.
6 times 50, guys.
Wow. I can't even do
300
that kind of
episodes.
math. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a lot of
talking, my
talking.
friend. Yeah. And so today we've never covered this, the AI Bible, and
I'm stretching it to. There isn't a full-on AI Bible that I'm aware of, but Bible stories being visualized using AI.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after I became interested in this, I heard about, and I think it's kind of cool to say I have not seen it, so not speaking from having experienced it, but that there have been AI videos about Charlie Kirk's resurrection going around.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Nor did I look for it.
Not having seen it, not having looked for it, but hearing it exists is interesting. So we can just speculate, and which I think is a unique angle. We've got a unique angle.
Well, what I have seen AI, I've never seen the AI Bible stuff except for the one little thing that you sent me that was an NPR report, right?
Yeah.
But I have seen the AI Star Wars trailers, and they'll do them like Star Wars trailer if it was done in the 60s, and it's all AI done, and if it was done in the 40s. And anyway, so.
Do you think there's an AI about AI?
I'm sure there is.
The biblical place.
They're super bad. They're terrible. I don't know if you watch any of these.
But you see what I'm saying. AI, the biblical place.
Yes.
If there's an AI about AI.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes.
If there's not, somebody's missing the boat.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so super bad. How in the Star Wars world?
Well, all of it is just the one that I saw with the Bible. It's just so obviously AI.
Sure.
And so obviously over dramatic.
Sure.
And uninteresting to me.
Okay. It must be interesting to somebody, though.
Well, I mean, I think, it's interesting to the thumb scrollers, which we all are, and we get our little, algorithms connected to us.
The thumb scrollers.
Yeah, that's what I call myself, as a thumb scroller.
Yeah.
And, I've learned that some of it's helpful.
Yeah.
But because the algorithm has figured out that I like, neurobiology, the algorithm's figured out, I like this set of things that I do like.
Yeah.
And they're interesting to me, and then they create
that's what you see. Yeah.
links to things, and then I go explore them.
Right.
And then sometimes I'm like,
thumb scrolling.
I'm a thumb scroller. That's an addiction.
Cruz in his sermon at Mission Church had a little bit about Rod and how he was old and how you knew he was old. And that's because when he wanted to look on his phone for something, he grabbed his phone and he used his his forefinger. So there's the thumb scroller
and the forefinger
and the whatever you want to call that. But he apparently, according to Cruz, that's how you know someone is old.
That's true.
And you know what? I'm experiencing a little bit of soreness in my thumb, and is it from scrolling or other things? I don't know. But I've noticed I've been bringing the finger scroll into play, which maybe
you're aging up.
Well, I had a birthday yesterday, and maybe that means I'm getting old.
How old are you?
Wouldn't you like to know?
40?
Something. Yeah.
Oh, come on. When were you born? 1980?
How well does...
1982.
There it is.
Yeah.
How well does Eric know Andy?
Look at that. I knew it was
I don't
somewhere
know
between
your birth
80
year
to 82.
off the top of my head either.
Well, I'm 10 years older than you.
Yeah, that I remember.
So.
Okay.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
It's interesting. So all the 43-year-olds in that age range at the Village, we call them Gen 2s because a lot of them have actually, they came when they were 25.
Are a lot of them named Jen?
No.
Okay.
They have simple names, though, that, I think their parents were naming them things like Ron.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Ruben.
Yeah. Todd.
Yeah, very simple.
Todd's my favorite name, I think.
I'm sorry, does that come from Toby? Or, what does Todd come from?
Toddley.
I mean,
Todderton,
yeah. Okay, so I don't know about this Bible generation stuff, so tell me, AI generation.
Well, I don't know any more than the article. And so it's not something that's coming across my feed. As you mentioned, you get neuroscience. I get Chicago Cubs and 1990s vehicles that are partially broken down. That's what I get.
I get karate videos.
You get karate, yes. And so there you go. Yeah. So this isn't coming across my feed. It's not something that's been fed to me yet. But it was interesting. So the power of images, right? You and I have talked before about images and video, and we've talked, what was it? There was The Chosen. We talked about the power of that and how that Jesus can become your Jesus.
Yes.
And so that's sort of the angle I want to take on this is what does it do to us to see biblical stories generated in these dramatic AI style scenes? I should say, the only one I'd seen before was a very dispensational style resurrection scene, in which all these people were floating up into the sky. But what does it do to the human mind, to a person's faith, when the words of the Bible get paired with imagery? And I'm not just trying to or dunk on AI. This has been...
Imagery is part of our faith.
It's part of our faith. It's part of how people think and imagine. But it's been debated over the years because it does have power, and it needs to be careful with it. So, what does it mean? How does it impact us to see someone who just recently died imagined as resurrecting?
Yeah.
And what is that? What do we need to think about there?
Well, what does it say about our culture? I mean, I think that my best guess when I sit and chat with people and think about stuff is that a good 20% of whatever collection of people you're engaged with is either on the religious / political left or the religious / political right. And they are very ardent and very black and white about how they are thinking through things.
Sure.
And I think they both produce these kinds of things. Like, and our subsets of them produce it. Because, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you... so I went back and listened to parts of our podcast about Charlie Kirk. And one of the things I said, and it resonated with me the second time I listened to it, is like, there's a whole set of people who are connected to Charlie Kirk, like his wife and children and parents, who are in this tremendous grief process. And yes, he's a public figure, but because we've become so sherry in everything, and we're all like, there's no boundaries. We are a culture of no boundaries. And to me, that is just an evidence of no boundaries. We do not know how to have boundaries.
Yeah.
And the more like ardent we are about like, sort of the like right of this man, and like sort of the triumphing over wrong and him being a martyr and all that kind of stuff, like the more we lose our boundaries.
Sure.
And so I don't know. I think at least one indication is that.
Well, when you ask the bare question, why are people doing this? My number one answer to that came to my mind was they're making money.
Yes, it's all about money. I would agree.
Because I don't think people are... Now, are there people doing this who are trying to be evangelistic? Maybe. Maybe. Are there people that are... I think that would be the most positive attempt, would be that. I think there are people, probably a large group, trying to make money when they do it. And then the next version that's very similar is trying to make things that get views.
Sure.
And if you're not doing that for money, you're at least trying to build a platform, which is usually at some point tied to making money.
Yes.
Now, I'm not against making money. I help run an incubator for small business. I believe in making money, because that's a way that you
can put food in your
stomach and do anything that is important to you. You will need funds. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that motive needs to be examined. Like, what's the driver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Money is probably a big part of it. I think.
And so then to think about boundaries, like how would it feel if you were going to a funeral and somebody were handing out little pamphlets about the person and saying, oh, $10 each.
Right.
Give me $10 and I'll give you the pamphlet about the person's life.
Right.
That would feel really like a boundary issue.
Yeah,
right?
it would be a boundary issue.
This is a time of grief and mourning. This is not a time to make money.
Yeah.
But when it happens online and you don't see the money because it's tied more to advertising and clicks,
sure,
we don't experience the problem.
No. I don't want to lose this thought, so I want to go backwards just for a second. Fine. Speaking of just a drama, like to start with our initial processing, the dramatization of the Bible. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about, well, I don't know if you have seen or watched any of the David on Prime.
No.
So season 1, I didn't watch it other than I watched a couple episodes because I wanted to see what it was like. I thought the acting was decent, but the sets weren't great, and it kind of dragged. It was difficult to like stay interested, but it was enough for people to really love. And so season 2 is coming, and I saw a trailer for it. And when I watched that trailer, obviously a bunch more money got spent on this.
Sure.
And it is like they are grabbing like the full sort of breadth of David's rise.
Okay.
And to see that, like it's this historical thing. They're doing it, they're dramatizing things and they're adding things, but they're trying to stay to the basic storyline. And you're like, wow, it gives you a taste of it. I appreciate that. It's beautiful dramatization of a story that I believe to be true and significant to the story of our world.
Now, how much of that by nature has to kind of ring true to our contemporary lives, and what does that do to the story? So I'm trying to think of there was the most recent movie about Noah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah, but I remember when watching it, it was evident that it was being done in such a way to interpret our time or to involve themes that people were thinking about now in order to dramatize it effectively.
Right. Well, I would, to that point, it seems to me like this David one is trying to like give almost a Game of Thrones style feel. So that sort of warrior epic,
sure,
like what we were talking about, then the way that the AI presents.
Yeah.
And in the NPR article that we're talking about, it says that most of these things are like a fantasy movie, so that they're intense, they're dramatic,
right? Big
wide shots,
right?
Monologues with deep voices and and drama, intense drama.
But what's the how aware must we be, and does it even change? Does it even change things when we're aware that this ancient story is being interpreted through our modern lens?
Yeah.
Like how...
But we don't have any other lens.
No, for sure. And that happens when we read.
Oh, yeah.
But how aware of that should we be? Like, I think a good reader of Scripture would be increasingly aware that they are reading it through their lens.
Sure.
And trying to do some work to say it's possible that I'm reading my culture onto this.
Sure. Especially when you're doing a movie.
And is it harder to do that when there's a highly dramatized image attached?
Yeah, it's possible. I think it's fun as an artist probably to explore all those things.
Totally.
So here's why I think where The Chosen went wrong, and people are all going to disagree with me, is I think Jesus should never have been the main person in The Chosen.
Hot take. Tell me
I
more.
think that it should have been told they should have picked 1 to 2 disciples who were the main characters, and Jesus was always the side character.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't So you're kind of following, and they're still doing this, but Jesus is definitely central, and the actor is definitely compelling, so he's able to hold that. And I don't think it would be as powerful to people, but I think it would be more interesting artistically, because you're really exploring people's experience of Jesus as he is rising to power and fame and then dying on the cross.
Yeah.
And just how they, and I know that they're doing more of that, but it's still, so that's, I think those kinds of things are artistically interesting to explore. I think The Chosen has been put together in order to bring the gospel forward into a cultural context. So I think in some ways, Dallas, whatever his name is, I don't know what his last name is.
Jenkins. Interestingly, of the family of the Left Behind makers, which is an interesting thing to know. I'm not trying
the other co-author,
Jerry B. Jenkins. I'm not trying to say he has the same views as his dad. I have no idea, but he comes from a lineage of dramatizers,
of people who storytellers.
Stories.
Yeah, I think he is trying to do his own understanding of a missional thing, or you take the story of Jesus and you bring it into and what he would understand as a pagan culture. Sure. So he's taking that story and trying to help us as pagans understand who Jesus is and understand what's going on here. Kind of in the context of like Matthew, right, where it says, and from this point in time, by making this statement, Jesus declared all food. Or Mark does this actually, declared all food clean. Because the pagans why is this important? I don't understand this. Yeah, so I think it's kind of that way. It's like, hey, here's who, you can connect to Jesus and you can know Jesus, and Jesus transcends your culture.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be missional. I don't know if he hits the mark or not, but
if somebody in your church, like say around your daughter's age or something,
24,
came to you and said, "Oh, well, happy birthday."
Happy birthday, Ashton.
What if they, were scrolling thumb, what'd you say? Thumb
something. Thumb scrollers.
The thumb scrollers?
Yeah.
If she was thumb scrolling and came to you and said, I didn't realize that this prophet's speech was so powerful. And you watched it and you were kind of like, whoa, this is fantasy style.
Yeah, sure.
But also I do believe that the prophet's speech was powerful. How would you parse that out? How would you just say like, oh yeah, it was cool, I'm glad you found that? Or would you have some cautionary words? Or
okay, so here's what I think I have a good statement for this. All technology offers good things and has consequences.
Yeah.
So we can go back to the tract. The tract was this piece of paper that you would hand people that had a plan of salvation, or they would take lots of different angles on a well-done tract, depending on the target audience, so to speak. And those things are good. They help some people come into the kingdom. I think they built a very shallow spirituality. That was the consequence. Or they left people without discipleship. I think this AI thing, if she were deeply impacted by it and helped her grow in her faith, it's going to have a consequence. Maybe I can't fully articulate that consequence. Yeah. Maybe it's that she avoids reading the Bible because now she can get it through this drama, this digitized drama.
And then I think, yeah, for sure. And I think the other consequence is how images stick in your mind. Like when I think of great films, and what is so good about them is the scene is stuck in my mind as portrayed.
Right.
And so if I were to see, one of the prophets giving their declaration, it would be harder for me to remove that image of it from my mind and think of it in a different way.
Well, I'm right now, I'm seeing from the digitized thing that you sent me.
Yes.
Elijah and it's the Ahaz, right? Or Ahab. I always forget. Ahaz. Anyway, Jezebel's husband.
You have that in your head.
Yeah, where he says, "You will have your showdown, Elijah."
Right.
I'm like, huh? Wow. I can't get that out of my head now.
It's stuck.
Now I will think about that story, which they succeeded. But But it's referencing a story for me that I've read since I was a kid, and I have pictured in my head. And so that's fine, that reference popping up, but it may be the only reference she has.
Right.
So
which is kind of interesting, right?
So I don't fully know. Like, I don't know what the full consequences of all this is.
The rapture image that I saw.
I can see it now, too.
Right. Yeah, me. And I thought that is one in particular that is theologically, there are really great theologians that think that image is sort of what to expect, and really great ones that would say no, that is not what's going on in that passage.
Right.
But to see that image and experience that way is powerful.
Yeah.
And can lock in to a certain degree. And I agree. I don't just think I think this is the impact of an image-based way of consuming media and news as well. That, I mean, we're I think all well aware that news stories, sometimes not factual, are being shared in such a way as well, where you see, I mean, there was one recently of a police car burning, right, and it was tied to an event that was going on in Los Angeles, but this video was not from that event. No. But you see it and it impacts you, and you believe it. Yep. And it's very instinctual to do so, because I think we are, as humans, wired to believe what we see. Yeah, I think we are. I think we will get to the point where we have decided that what we see and hear on the internet, so to speak, we don't believe or that's real, and then it'll lose its power. That's for some of us. Very much happening. I've talked to 20-some-year-olds. I've talked to my daughter about that, and the more they realize they've been duped by images and videos and AI, the more skeptical they're becoming of all of it. So what does it mean what do we do when we're wired to believe what we see, but we're learning that it's often fake or an interpretation? What does that do to us if we're wired to believe what we see, but we're starting to disbelieve what we see? Well, it creates even more anxiety and disconnection from one another. But I'm wondering, what if we're in a time, spiritually even, let's think about this, where we've almost, I mean, yes, there are a lot of people groups without a written gospel yet, the scriptures. Yeah. But the Bible has gone to almost all the ends of the earth. But not while that's happened, the kingdom, like not God's kingdom, kingdoms have spread out. Like there are very few isolated kingdoms. Like kingdoms are putting out their propaganda, and everybody can access their propaganda either by choice or by force, right? Yeah. It's being pushed out there. So what if the movement of God now, as we prepare, is to slowly remove ourselves from connection to the broader and become more robustly local? And so what I mean by that is literally being communities who cut themselves off from the flow of information and allow, not necessarily we'll become ignorant of all the things that are happening, but we become less and less dependent and more engaged and connected to the local. I think that's the only way for us to have any kind of sanity and believe what we see, because I can go out my front door and look at my neighbor and I can see them, and they aren't at this point a hologram. And there's a car, I can see the car, and I can see the kids, and I can see the people running. I sit across from you and have this podcast. I can make assessments of you and statements about you because you're tangible. Right.
I don't know if that police car is burning or not. I mean, I know by faith, actually, because I have not seen the dead body of Charlie Kirk, that he was shot. And so therefore I have certain amount of faith in the information still that's coming my direction. But it will get to a point where I'm like, I don't know if Charlie Kirk's dead or not.
Yeah, and I'm sure that stuff's out there. And then but the whole, and which is so sad when it's, again, this was our last week conversation. But the why is there's so much doubt being cast on why it happened, right? And so whether there's any debate as to whether he was really shot or not, what is the conspiracy behind it, is both sides of our culture have takes on the conspiracy behind it.
Well, and I I blame the death of Charlie Kirk on CNBC and Fox News. And I use them as caricatures. There's a whole collection of people and things underneath them. But mentally ill people cannot deal well with a constant hate and a constant, this person is this and that person is that. So Donald Trump is a caricature of himself, and Biden's a caricature, and they're evil and they're this and they're that, and so you think when you have severe mental illness, you begin to think, yeah, I need to get a bullet. I need to go kill this person. I can gain some glory. You don't think right. Like this creates an environment that's unhealthy for you. If you have mental illness, you need an environment where people are kind and loving and thoughtful and long-suffering of one another. That's not our culture. It's getting worse. We have high levels of mental health. This is going to happen. Our mental health issues, it's going to happen over and over and over again. And it's going to happen on both sides.
Sure. Yeah. No. And then, and of course, where these AI Bible stories are being discovered.
Good job bringing it back around.
but to tie in, I'm working really hard here to pull this all
You
together.
are a master.
And Charlie Kirk, where they're both discovered, is in fact especially TikTok. So there are those legacy media outlets that have changed and are only putting before us the most intense of information. But then you take a platform like TikTok, which is constant activity. I remember years ago, when my daughter was young, we liked showing her kind of the old Winnie the Pooh stories.
Yeah.
And these are slow stories.
They're very slow.
Very meandering little tales.
Love them.
I miss them.
Yes, me too.
And I remember renting a movie for her that was just exhaustingly active and feeling intuitively this wasn't good for us. And we started to avoid that type of film. TikTok to me is that type of film, but not even one story. Just fast action, some of it real human form, some of it AI driven. But it is our source for news and information and even education. And so there's the thing that drives people to the news, which we know is people want intensity. They want things that either make them euphoric or angry.
Yes.
By nature. And the news organizations, in order to make money, have to put that in front of you. If they don't put that in front of you, the person who does will make the money. And so then you take a platform like TikTok, which knows that deeply. They know how to hook you in order to boost their platform. That's the point. It's a business.
Right.
The platform is there to maximize money. I think we have to know that's what's being done in in those spaces, and being hyper local, that's one thing, but also to know, I mean, I've been thinking about, will I write up something on this? I don't know. I've got so much I'm supposed to write, but I've been thinking about my reason for opening a TikTok account recently was entirely because I'm supposed to advertise that I write. That's a thing I keep hearing. You're supposed to advertise that. But my drive to open that account, which I have yet to use, maybe I won't, I don't know, but it's entirely to advertise. That's what it will accomplish. Mm-hmm. I see that. Others see that. How much of us, do we need to understand that these outlets are just advertisements? It's like, you remember when you used to pick up the magazines in certain parts of town, and you knew the whole point of it was advertising things in town, and you knew, if I look at this, I will be sold on what restaurant and what experience, and you knew that.
Right.
You knew that.
So you're saying like TikTok is some version of your local business magazine that advertises and writes advertisement articles for businesses and restaurants and community things.
And people's blogs and whatever, and people's content.
Right. It's an advertising for content. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we need to know that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
I would agree.
If we engage it, understand that's what it's doing. So when you get a powerful video of the prophet speaking to the foreign king, the purpose of it is advertisement.
Right.
And to keep you on an advertisement platform. Like, does that change anything at all?
It could. I mean, there are people out there who are just like, I just want to throw this up so people can see it and experience it.
Well, but it's still advertisement of me.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And in our highly humanist world, like to be significant is to advertise yourself and be noticed.
Yeah.
It's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
It leads to money or affirmation.
Yeah.
And what terrifies us is that it could lead to criticism and cancellation.
Sure.
Which it absolutely can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. And so in the end of all this, I don't even know how I feel about the AI generated stuff. I feel like we live in a world of chaos.
Yeah.
And your best bet is to figure out what part of the ocean you're going to try to keep your boat from capsizing and just hold on for dear life.
I do like the hyperlocal conversation.
I do too. I think it's essential.
Yeah. And what would it even mean to, as I'm thinking about how we have as a church, and I have to own some of this, not done much with social media lately.
Yeah.
And my thought was just like, what if, and I'm torn because I know that's where, if I were to move to a town, I would look at the media of a church.
Sure.
I know that.
But that may not determine why you go there.
No, it might not. It's hard to say.
Right.
But
if you saw the media and they had
felt
Jewish flag, an American flag, and the church flag, and they were singing, tons of crossover, like church and state kind of songs, you might think, yeah, probably.
I'd determine something about them based on that.
It's probably not where you would want to be.
If I saw a really polished experience with a big LED board behind, I would go, okay, that's for some people, not for me.
Right.
But if I saw,
well, let's just talk about your media.
Sure.
If the camera was shot real close to the speaker, and they looked like they weren't dressing up for service, and then
exactly
the audio worked sometimes and then it didn't, and
you go, these are kind of normal people, right? That's still a determination based on media,
right? It's kind of like, you go to those three people's houses. If you go to the person whose house is immaculate,
and you're still determining the same thing,
or you go and they have like just every little knick-knack that they've ever had, and it's in there, their hobbies are everywhere, or that person is just like, hey, maybe the bathroom's clean.
So this is me acknowledging there's something to that we would do anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's that you don't want to do any of it. But at the same time, what would it be like to know that you were in a generally media-free zone when you connected with people? Do churches need to make sure that actually you do not enter a highly media stimulated place, that there aren't it used to be that you wanted moving images and videos in the sermon, and that somebody was going around taking photos. Is it actually needed that you enter spaces where that is not going to happen to you because it's happening all day?
No, so I think you would need to have relationship with one another be a higher value than the media. But I also think it's okay for you to have a really strong media presence. It's more about what you do as a community to live in rhythms that pull you away from the connectedness to, like, where you don't feel the need to, as I've been, be a thumb scroller.
Right.
Where the disciplines of life and the way of your community has occupied you in both internally as a community and externally with your neighbors, that you are not like, you use media because you guys got to schedule the softball game and you're like, I'll be at the softball game.
Right.
You're not using media because you're like, oh, it's neat, Kirsten Dunst is doing that. Oh, look, that karate thing's really cool. Oh, wow, I didn't know about the neurobiological study. I'll go look at that.
Yeah.
Like, that's one set of things versus like, oh, Andy just put up a podcast. I would love to listen to that. It's localized. I know Andy. I could talk to Andy about the podcast afterwards, a week from now. Hey, I heard your podcast. I don't know if I agree with you, or I thought it was really cool and helpful. That's that kind of thing. And it was interesting. That was sort of the argument of Subsplash, to bring us all the way back to the beginning, was they feel like they're trying to compete with all of that and pull your church back into a place where it's localized and is learning from itself and being an outreach at the same time. I thought that was really interesting way of thinking about technology.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, there you go. AI Bible stories.
Bible stories. And Andy's wearing his glasses today, guys, and I am. It's the glasses are appearing. And you know what? Unlike Andy, who brought his phone, I don't even know, mine's outside. I kept my phone out of.
I love that. But I wish I had
a picture of you with your glasses hanging over the mic. It's pretty cool.
Don't you wish you could put that on TikTok?
I want to put it on TikTok.
Yeah, and then AI it up, and
and then he'll say things really deeply and dramatically.
Being behind this microphone, you could make me say on AI whatever you want.
I could.
Terrifying. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen today.
No, it won't.
And it was good to see you.
It was episode 2 of season 6 in the hopper, as they so to say.
In the hopper. If you have a question for us, if there's something you've noticed that you want to hear our meandering thoughts on,
right?
Non-AI generated, I promise you. faithoverbreakfast@gmail.com. You can reply, you can text within the podcasting apps, or if you're one of those really crazy people, you can talk to Eric. Again,
talk to Eric, or
if you
Andy.
Talk to me, I will probably forget and I'll tell you to email me. So you could just skip and email me.
Yeah, well, hey, it's the beginning of the new season, so let me just make one pitch for it all. I know there's at least 80 to 90 listeners per episode, so if each of you were to support That's $10 a month and subscribe. That would be $900 a month, and we'd be able to become part of the digital revolution, the AI imaging. We do it all. We could get out there.
Well, now they're not going to do it. Now that you said that, if you said you could take care of your local pastor who you care about and supplement a little bit of their time, they might have been interested.
You could do that. You could also pay for an editor. You could pay for maybe upgrades to the studio.
If you think
maybe we go video. Because that's the new thing.
Okay.
So,
if that's what you want, then you could support us. And
we would love you. And that's mostly where we get our self-worth from, every subscriber. So if you're like, I need to help Eric feel better.
The only time I hear about who subscribes is moments like this with you, Eric. Otherwise, my self-worth has to come from somewhere else. No. Maybe
Jesus?
Even Jesus.
Yeah.
We're trying.
All right, man. That's awesome. Thanks, guys, for listening. You've been listening to Faith Over Breakfast with Pastor Eric Deepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. Please share us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you.